Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
A very good Monday afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us here on the Noon News. I'm Samantha Sullivan.
And I'm Rob Griggs, in for Ed McIntosh, who conveniently left the state.
Yeah.
Just in time for this little weather pattern.
Very conveniently, because it seems like it's hitting all of the state, and it's pretty bad out there today.
It's a huge Pacific storm system, Samantha, and it's just rocking all the way from the west to the east. You can see right now on the satellite radar composite, heavy snow in the Missoula area, not only the Bitterroot, but north into the Flathead, towards central Montana. Then it skirts down towards south central, southeastern Montana. And the cold air also slipping on down from Canada has created some havoc. You can see those temperatures right now way, way, way below average for this time of year. And watches and warnings paint across the state. We're going to be talking about those in just a little bit. And also snowfall estimates between now and Tuesday at lunchtime could see another 10 inches in some locations. So we have a lot to talk about, and we will have that statewide forecast for you in just a moment. Samantha?
All right, thanks, Rob. And of course, closures, whether it be school closures or road closures, you can reference all of that information to your specific region on your local MTN website. Now, two groups of snowmobilers were rescued near West Yellowstone in extremely windy and snowing conditions just yesterday. The first call came in around 2:30 in the afternoon. A group of 3 snowmobilers from Minnesota said they were having difficulty finding the trail in the bad conditions. GPS showed the group was about 10 miles north of the West Yellowstone area in the Horse Butte area. A few hours later, the snowmobilers were still stuck and still unable to find the trails, so a rescue crew was sent out, and on their way they happened to encounter a second group of snowmobilers who were stuck and having difficulty finding their way as well. Both groups were safely escorted back to West Yellowstone. Well, today's weather is one example of why this calving season has been unusually difficult for many area ranchers. MTN's Russ Thomas has a story of a Bitterroot rancher who's not getting much sleep these days.
In less than 1 week, Stevensville Sutherland Farms Red Angus owner Bob Sutherland will hold his annual production sale. Bob needs as many calves as possible to generate income. Right now, Bob and his family's full focus is on making sure their calves survive the harsh late February cold.
We try to do it so that we don't have any frozen ears and tails, because we're in the purebred business, and you want to sell bulls with all their components.
Thanks to several bitterly cold calving seasons in the last 6 years, the Southern family has become used to the drill of long nights where time is of the essence, though it doesn't get any easier with each frigid February. Now, this guy right here is about 3 hours old, but it looks like he's going to be fine. But Bob says if they don't check about every hour and a half throughout the night, there's a good chance they could lose one.
You've got them confined and calving tight. They get stepped on, laid on, different things. Also, if you get tied up checking one batch of cows and don't get back quite in time, you'll lose one just because you didn't get there in time and they just get too cold.
A new addition to the ranch is helping save calves that may not have survived otherwise. 2 years ago, Bob built this barn that has come in handy, especially over the last couple of weeks.
You get them in there, they're warm, and then like now we can bring our calves in there and just lay them in there, and they dry off.
The barn even has an incubator to expedite the warming process. Sutherland says that as he's gotten older, especially in light of the number of recent frigid Februaries, he sometimes wonders why he continues to do this. So when I asked Bob, so why do you continue to do this, the answer came out quickly and assuredly.
I got another generation or two that's coming up that likes the cows and the farm. I've worked my whole life to get what we've got, and I hope to pass it on to them.
In Stevensville, Russ Thomas, MTN News.
Thanks, Russ. In other news this afternoon, the Blackfeet Law Enforcement Services issued an attempt to locate for a missing Browning man. 23-year-old Wayne Roy Many Guns was last seen Thursday, February 21st. His family tells MTN he left in the middle of the night and never returned home. Many Guns is about 6 feet tall with a slender build and weighs about 140 pounds. He has brown eyes and short brown hair.
He's a very nice, smart, educated boy. It's not like him to just disappear like this and not call or come by or anything. It's just really strange.
Now, the alert that was issued was changed to a missing and endangered persons alert this morning. If you know of any Many Guns whereabouts, you're asked to call the Blackfeet Law Enforcement Services Dispatch Center. In other news, what some say is the single greatest issue facing the dentistry industry may get a fix by a bill in Congress making health and dental insurance work better for consumers. Senator Steve Daines talked about the Competitive Health Insurance Reform Act at a Vetus Group. He met with dentists and others involved in the industry. Dentists say they faced fixed prices, no recourse, and no federal oversight. The Competitive Health Insurance Reform Act would change that by taking away federal antitrust exemptions for health and dental insurance companies.
The issue was that nobody in the Senate introduced this bill, and I'm not quite sure why. Sometimes what's obvious isn't always done. This is a bill that I'm leading with Pat Leahy, who is a senator from Vermont, and what this does, it removes that exclusion and really returns pricing now to the free markets and the competition. When we do that, you see lower prices, higher quality, better outcomes. It's time for the Senate to take action and get this passed.
The House passed its version of this bill in March of 2017. U.S. Senator Jon Tester visited with locals and the owner at Kettle House Brewing Company in Bonner to talk about his bill to cut taxes and reduce regulations for small breweries. The bipartisan Craft Beverage Modernization and Tax Reform Act was introduced in 2017 and will expire next year. According to the Montana Brewers Association, there are 83 breweries in our state and 4 new ones in the planning process. A press release from Senator Tester's office says these breweries will contribute more than $400 million to the state economy each year. The bill would cut excise taxes in half for small breweries on their first 60,000 barrels and then lower the tax by $2 for every barrel produced up to 2 million barrels. Tester says he's not expecting much opposition.
Well, what it means to me is these micro breweries and micro distilleries have been an incredible success story in Montana, and I think this just helps them succeed and helps them move forward in really bringing communities together and employing people and having fun, and that's what it's about.
This bill has also been reintroduced in 12 other states. Well, coming up here on the Noon News, signs that tension between the U.S. and China could be easing, what it means for trade when we come back. But first, Rob Griggs is in for Ed this week, and he is the bearer of some more bad news. More winter weather's on the way, but just how much more are we in for? The full forecast after the break.
Watching MTN News with Samantha Sullivan, Storm Tracker weather with Ed McIntosh, and Farm and Ranch News from the Northern Ag Network. This is the Noon News on Q2, Montana's news leader.